We did it! We finished! Welcome. This is the finale of the Inferno Squad on Endor. Based on the Battlefront 2 mission, the Battle of Endor, this is my largest custom LEGO Star Wars MOC to date. It took me 6 months, 200 hours, and 20 episodes to build, and I couldn't be happier to showcase it for you. After this short cinematic, I'll walk you through the build, the story, and I'll share some additional images that you've yet to see. So there's a whole lot going on within this MOC, and I wasn't able to show you everything in that short cinematic. So I want to give you an overview, provide you some of the backstory here, and then show you some of the images and some of the different things within the build that you haven't seen yet. So as I mentioned before, this LEGO Star Wars MOC is based on the Battle of Endor, the mission from Battlefront 2. It's where the Inferno Squad was actually on Endor to help defend the shield generators of the second Death Star. And the Inferno Squad was actually on Endor when the Death Star exploded, and they actually witnessed that take place, which was a pretty gripping scene. But once that happened, Iden really got her squad under control and focused on making their way to Platform 4, because now they needed to get off of Endor. So their mission is to work their way through Endor, defeating any rebels along the way, retaking Platform 4 from rebel control, as you can see here, and then taking some TIE fighters to get off of the planet. One of my favorite scenes is this here, where the Inferno Squad is first rolling up on Endor, and this captain here says, "We weren't expecting special forces," and Iden, Hask, and Meeko just roll up on the scene like a bunch of badasses and start taking out a bunch of the rebels as they start making their way towards Platform 4. So what you're seeing over here is a counteroffensive by the Imperials. So we have a captain here, his squad rolling down this way. We've got a few mortar troopers which look great. We've got this custom AT-ST. That's actually a design by a designer named Brick Boss on Rebrickable. I put a link down in the description. If you wanted to build that for yourself, you can purchase the instructions for cheap off of Rebrickable and build that for yourself. So that's a very, very cool design. In the mission, one of the things you'll notice is the rock work, and there's just a ton of rock work, hills, cliffs, you name it. It's in there as far as the paths that you travel. So I wanted to add a lot of rocks and cliffs into the build as well. And yeah, it was quite the journey getting this all built up. And there's an Easter egg right here I'll show you in a second. This waterfall was one of my favorite things to include in the build, and I looked forward to this the most during the build series, just the anticipation of putting this waterfall in. And maybe I had imagined it being larger when I first started the build, but this is actually more game accurate. And the waterfall appears a little bit later in the mission than it does right here, but you know, just only so much room you have to build things. I kind of mashed it all in there the best I could, but I'm really happy with the way that the waterfall turned out, and I think it adds a really nice little centerpiece to the MOC overall. Here's the Easter egg I was talking about, which is an Ewok cave that we have back here that was built into the mountain. I did that pretty early in the rockwork stages, and I just thought that was a cool little thing to add in there. As the Inferno Squad is making their way through the forest of Endor, they encounter a bunker, and this again was another main attraction that I was just really excited to build. And it's just the whole thing about the bunker being covered by a hill, and you saw that there's lights inside, and we'll take a look at that again here in a moment. But just building this bunker into the hill and then building on top of the hill was just one of my favorite things to do. After the bunker, the Inferno Squad roll up onto platform 4, and they encounter some pretty heavy resistance when they get to the bunker. So we have quite a bit of rebels stationed around the base, and even in the back here we have a little bit of a depot where we have some guys down there just huddling over some supplies, and we have like a custom net piece here that looks pretty cool, a little camouflage piece there. And one of the biggest challenges the Inferno Squad has when they get to the platform is that the rebels have taken an AT-ST, and that's quite the beast to encounter. So I wanted to make sure I represented that with a rebel with the hatch open, just so those who haven't played the game kind of knew what was happening there. And then down here we have the gun that's used to try to take down the AT-ST, which had to be included as well. I did play around with the idea of including a TIE fighter up here, but at the end of the day, I felt that it threw off the scale of the entire MOC, and it really kind of hid the details that I built into the surface here. One of the things that I really liked about Platform 4 in the game was just how cool the platform surface looked itself, and all the different crates and things around. And I didn't add too many crates up here. I wanted to keep it kind of plain, because the more crates you add, the smaller it makes the platform look. And in order to fit this platform in, I really had to downscale it quite a bit to get it in there. And it looks pretty good like this, but it's a fine line between it looking too small and the more that you build onto it, the smaller it would become. So as is, like this, I think it looks pretty good in the build. Okay, so there's a lot of cool things going on here. There's a lot of things that I would say are like my favorite. The bunker, obviously, inside of here is one of my favorite. But honestly, I have to say that my favorite spot of the entire build is this section right here. And the speeder bikes cutting through the trees is just one of my favorite scenes that I built. The tree design really came along pretty well. I think that represents redwood trees pretty good. I'm really happy with that tree design, and I'll probably use it again in future builds. And then I just used kind of smaller trees to mix it in to try and make the forest look as diverse as possible. And also, if you kind of see the way it's built, there's basically a frame around the outside of the build that kind of draws you in. And so I didn't want to be competing with sight lines through here, so we kept the trees smaller in here, and we kind of built a border around the MOC that way with the trees, the platform, the rock work, etc. So I think it all works out pretty good. But let's take another look at some pictures from this section right here, because I just think it looks so cool. And that brings us to the bunker. On the outside, we have rebels attacking the bunker, looking to make their way inside. We have some rebels on top here, part of that battle as well. And then on the inside, we have a command center with a response, right? So on the left side here, we have Imperial stormtroopers making their way towards the front door to help secure it against the rebels that are on the outside of the door. We have a captain here going over some battle plans, and then we have a little control station here as well. So all the lights are from Light My Bricks, and this was a lot of fun to build. I love the wall techniques that I used there, which are snot techniques, and that just makes for some really cool details, and just all the lights in here just look really, really cool. You may have noticed a bunch of custom weapons and backpacks and pauldrons and different things like that. Those are all from Clone Army Customs. I put a link in the description to their store. The lights are from Light My Bricks, and the build again is from Brick Boss. Links to all those down in the description. So what would really be awesome is if you liked and subscribed to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Share this video with anybody you think would find something like this cool. I would appreciate that as well. And I especially wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your support. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for all of you that have been there throughout the series, all the likes, all the comments, all the support. I appreciate it. You guys are really, and I know it's been said before, and maybe it's cliche or maybe it's not. Who even cares? I just want to say thank you. You guys really are the reason why this is so much fun to share on YouTube. It's all this feedback. It's all the support. It's you guys being there for the videos. So thank you very much for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I hope you enjoyed this series. And if you want to see more cool LEGO Star Wars content, Marvel, Castle, more custom creations, we're only getting started on the channel. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next build. Thank you so much.